How's it going, everyone? Today's video, I want to recap on a lot of stuff that's been going on this weekend, and even though the weekend's not over, I have been going mad getting this Viper back together. So in an attempt just to get it done, honestly, it's just been something, there's a lot of work that needed to be done to it, and in an attempt just to get it over and done with, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really film much of it, for one reason, because I wanted to just get it done and over with. Two, the other reason is because I've never had to pull a transmission out of a Viper before and put it back in, so I don't consider myself an expert. I mean, I've done transmissions on a bunch of vehicles, but on that vehicle, the transmission tunnel is pretty tight, and I don't know, to make a video on it, I want to be a little bit more versed on it, or a bit more experienced before I actually kind of feel comfortable enough to show everybody else on the internet and on YouTube how to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what we've done, because it's pretty cool in my opinion, and it's been a lot of work. So we got the Viper up here. I probably should go around this side so that we can get the sun in the right way. It's not fighting us. There you go. So we got the Viper up on, you know, the lift obviously. And what we did end up doing is I picked up one of these things, and this is another one of my hilarious deals. So I ended up picking up a transmission jack, and this thing like saved us. Like, I honestly could not imagine doing it any other way. I mean, the way I took the transmission out of the car, I had the car very low, and I had that creeper over there, and just kind of, you know, muscled it out, put it across, and dragged it out. But this made things so nice that we could actually walk under here, put the transmission on, and then put it up. So you guys can see now we got the transmission back from being rebuilt. It's now in, it's bolted up. It doesn't have any fluids on it. I haven't bled the clutch yet, but that's some of the stuff that needs to be done. So this thing looks super fresh. It's completely 100% rebuilt. Few components upgraded by Tick Performance, and that kind of outlines that. It's not anything crazy, like it's not no stage 3 transmission or anything, but it's upgraded from stock just ever so slightly, and completely gone through and completely refreshed. So that should be good. I don't plan on like going crazy with this thing anytime soon as far as trying to make it a high build or horsepower build or anything of that nature. And the second part of this whole thing, why it took so long. So few things. I wanted, since I had the drive shaft out, and the drive shaft is hilariously small in this car, I wanted to kind of refresh the universal joint, because one of them seemed a bit tight on there. So you can see that tiny little drive shaft on the floor here, and it was swapping out the universal joint there. That's one part of it. Another part of it is the diff. So the diff was leaking a little bit out of the, I think it was the driver's side yoke. So there's a seal back here, and it was kind of puking out of there. So this is, I have two diffs for this car. This is a 3.73, and then this is just a stock 309, I think it is, somewhere in there, gear ratio. So I just put the stock diff back in because I didn't feel like rebuilding this to put it all back in. I already had the stock one sitting there good to go, and maybe we'll tackle this at another point. But in order to get the diff out, you have to disconnect the whole exhaust, because it kind of wraps through here in this Y pipe that you can see on the floor there. So I had to take that all off, disconnect the axles, drop this thing out of here, and then you'll see this huge like bat wing thing that, there you go, you probably see it. It goes and connects there and across, and look at the frame rails. So you have to play this game of getting this thing twisted to come out, and it's fun for sure, but having this and putting it up made things a hell of a lot nicer and easier. Same with the transmission, like I was saying, like this thing, you can see these tabs here, it gets super close, so you have to like put the transmission on its angle and like kind of angle it in to get it in there. And yeah, that was fun. This thing is like a $200 piece, like a transmission jack, somewhere around there. I ended up getting it for like 40 bucks off of OfferUp, so I'm super pumped about that deal. One more update with the truck. You guys probably noticed the exhaust on the ground. I'm going back to my 100% sleeper mode for the truck, just so I don't have any headache or hassle. So I put the stock muffler back on, and then we still have the cutout if needed. And what we're gonna do for today's video is I'm actually going to be loading the tune. So I'm gonna be testing the truck out today. So I'm gonna be just loading a different tune in it. I got the fuel pump in it, and we're gonna go around and do some testing. But this is kind of what it looks like outside. It's super dirty right now, but
how she looks with the drop, the Beltec 2.4. So it's looking pretty slick. Let me grab my laptop, we'll load up that tune. I also want to put it in the passenger seat because we're going to be taking this thing out for a tour today, making sure everything works, putting it through maybe some test runs a little bit on the street. Nothing too crazy, but just seeing how the fuel pump works, and then hopefully we can go to the track next weekend. So let me get my laptop, we'll do that, and then we'll put the seat in. Okay, so you guys probably know the drill by now. We're going to take our HPTuners MPVI2, plug it in to the OBD2 port, like so. And then we can jump back in the truck here, so we got some good light. And we're going to plug it in to our USB, turn our ignition to run, and we can go over here. So first things first, we're gonna go over here to this little file. We're gonna click this. So we'll click this little file folder in the corner. We're gonna open our tune. So you're gonna go ahead and select whatever tune you want, which in this case, for what we're loading up today, is this one. And all I'm going to do is click this one little button, this little microchip button here, and it's got a red arrow, so hopefully you guys can see that. This little button here, we're going to click it. It's going to be to the right to the vehicle, and then this screen is going to pop up. We're going to say we want to write it to the ECM and we want to write it to the TCM because we want to write both the engine and transmission, and we're going to click write. So it's doing a little firmware update right now. And I get a lot of questions on whether this thing is hard or easy to use. This is it, guys. It's really not that crazy. It's really not that many steps. So here we go. So it updated the interface. Now it's going to write. So you can see it's writing. And you're just going to let it go through steps, and it's going to go ahead and prompt you on a few things. So it'll tell you to turn the ignition on, turn it off, that kind of thing. Same with writing the file to any of these vehicles, but it's nothing new. So the engine side is pretty quick. You guys can see it's only going to take about 50 seconds. We're already almost halfway through, and then we'll continue. So we'll just let this do its thing, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. So we're going to do this ignition off, turn ignition off. Wait 10 seconds, and pretty much the 10 seconds is just waiting for everything on the dash to turn off. You're gonna see that it probably goes a little bit wacky and says clutch over here, but it's nothing to be afraid of. It's kind of part of the process. Even though we don't have a clutch, the dash kind of goes into this kind of, I guess, default mode because they must use this dash in a number of vehicles. So anyways, well, that should be about 10 seconds. Then we're gonna turn it to run. Then we're going to click OK. So the engine's completed, and then it's going to move on to the transmission here in just a second. So that's it. We'll let it run through transmission tune and move on. So once the transmission's done writing, you're going to go through the same process of turning it off, waiting 10 seconds, and then turning it back on. And then once you do that, you're done. Okay, so now that that's done 100%, we're just going to click close, and that's it for that. So this is all done. Truck has that new tune loaded in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that seat back in that's missing over here. So the seat is all bolted up, bolted in, but we haven't connected anything yet. So next thing to do is pop the hood, disconnect the battery, connect that connector, and then reconnect the battery. So just to be on the safe side of things, definitely want to be disconnecting the battery and dealing with any airbag nonsense. So pretty straightforward. I'll just spin this off. 2 seconds. Battery's off. Put it somewhere you know is not going to touch the battery again while you're mucking around. Run over, connect our connector. That's it, she's together. Now we can reconnect our battery. Tighten it up. Like so. I don't lose my wrench. And we're done, guys. Okay, so we can go ahead and I guess the next thing would be double check, because I want to see if the airbag light will go away immediately or not. There you have it, guys. The airbag light goes away immediately as soon as you plug the seat back in. You don't have to plug in any scanners or clear any codes, which is kind of cool. Because it was right beside that seatbelt light, right there. It was on right beside there 2 seconds ago and then just turned off.
Alright you guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. I still got a ton of work to get done on this vehicle, and I'm going to do a bit of testing on the Ram, make sure that all the fuel pump stuff works that we've done, and then once that stuff is confirmed that it works, then I'll get out that fuel pump modification video to you guys, because I already made it, but I just want to test it out first before I kind of publish that stuff. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I just have a ton of stuff going on. Still got to put all the fluids in the car, finish buttoning up a bunch of stuff, finish that. One other thing too, just to mention, is I do have to probably remove some of the stage 8 fasteners, the locking fasteners. I'll show you guys that in a separate video if you don't know what that is, but I think that stuff is causing a little bit of issues with the tune because the knock sensor is picking up a bit of rattling from those fasteners. So I still haven't done that. I will show you guys that whole thing and I'll let you know the results of that. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're stopping in for the first time, check out the other videos on the channel and consider subscribing for lots of cool automotive related content. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.